Hey guys, welcome back to Zethythonix channel. You're watching H.L.M.S, one of the most detailed Gundam lore series. Today we are going back to Wing Boy Band. The protagonist of this episode is Sandrock Gundam. Just like the usual Gundam Wing episodes rules, we'll exclude comic Bon variants as they are not canon. Also, we'll jump between TV and EW versions, so just listen carefully. Before we start the episode, make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell. Turn on your CC sub, grab some snacks and drinks. Let's go. As Hero Yui was assassinated by Odin Law and Sank Kingdom was invaded by UESA. The tension between UESA and colony groups was raised faster than ever. Out of hatred towards war itself, the Gundam scientists decided to create the most powerful machine to make people fear the concept of war. Thus, the Wing Zero was born in blueprint form. However, the scientists never turned Wing Zero into the true physical form, as they think the power of Wing Zero is too much and is unnecessary to make such machine. AC-195, a group of anti-UESA individuals, decided to start the Operation Meteor. The Gundam scientists split the design features of Wing Zero into 5 Gundams and developed each of them individually. Gundam Sandrock was developed by Instructor H from L4 Colony and financially assisted by Winner Family. As previously mentioned, each of the 5 Gundams will possess a specific feature of Wing Zero. For Sandrock, it inherited the feature of strong defense. Sandrock got the toughest armor to make sure it will have huge advantage during melee battles. Different than Scythe and Shanlong, although Sandrock is still melee specialized, but think about it as using its armor to absorb attacks and tank it through, rather than using stealth or martial art tactics to melee like the formers. Not only the robust armor and strong melee abilities, one of the development goals of Sandrock is to operate at extreme terrains or weather. The overall structure design of Sandrock is tightly sealed, which means the joints or gaps between the armor parts won't be affected by temperature, snow, sand, dust, or even water. Since the development stage, Sandrock is already planned to be staying on Earth without returning to space. So, to make sure it can move easily on land, especially desert battlefields, Instructor H added the same hovercraft propulsion system from Oliphant into Sandrock's legs. Unlike Oliphant, Sandrock didn't have the full system in the legs. It's the miniaturized version, but it doesn't affect the efficiency. Sandrock can still move pretty fast on land. As I explained in the Heavy Arms episode, before Sandrock was finalized as the Commander Suit, Heavy Arms was considered as Commander Suit at one point. In the last second before Operation Meteor was fully planned, Sandrock was finalized as the Commander Suit. To make sure Sandrock can handle the commander role, there are advanced communication system and information analysis system installed in the Gundam. Due to the precision of what it was given, Sandrock is very effective when it comes to sabotage operations, no matter frontline or backline. At frontline, Sandrock can fight with his crew and tank the damage with his robust armor, then melee the targets with ease. At backline, Sandrock can provide decent support, calling out the tactics and commands. No matter what's the situation, Sandrock can easily change its position, going front to melee or stay back to support. That's why no matter cooperating with the Mechanic Corps or Gundam team, Sandrock can always make either team work better, maximize each team's potential and power. Let's talk about the weapons, since Sandrock is melee focused, so the weapons are pretty simple. For range battles, Sandrock is quite weak about it. The only 2 range options are Falcon Gun in the head and 2 homing missiles in the shoulders. For melee battles, Sandrock got a pair of heat Soto to use. They are sharp and able to easily cut through most of the materials. If needed, the Sotos can quickly heat up to further increase the cutting power. When required, the Sotos can also be used as throwing weapon too. Although the Sandrock's armor is pretty good, but for defensive purposes is equipped with a shield. But this shield does more than just blocking attacks. The shield is designed with a snakehead motif. You'll see 2 claws at the tip, which are the fangs. While Sandrock can just hit the opponent with the fangs, but it's not powerful, so the heat Sotos will do the job better. There are 2 eyes on the shield. They look like decoration, but they are actually shield flashers. They will release a blinding flash if needed, very helpful for confusing the enemy or allowing Sandrock to retreat safely. One of the unique weapons of Sandrock is the Cross Crusher. The whole weapon is formed by the shield, heat Sotos, and backpack. Sandrock will take the backpack off and mount it on the forearm. The Sotos will capture the target and cuts it in half. Although it looks very cool, but the practicality is questionable as the design is quite stupid in my opinion. Moving on to the EW version. The EW version is way more interesting than the TV version. The basic settings and development goals are the same between both versions. Main difference is on the weapons and additional equipment. Sandrock EW kept the same Falcon Gun in the head, shield, heat Sotos, and cross crusher. The heat solos are bigger for the EW version, the sharpness is still kept and is also able to use as a throwing weapon too. An extra feature on the EW version is they can connect through the end of the handle, becoming a double-bladed weapon. The only weapon difference is the homing missiles. EW version doesn't have them anymore. As for the new weapons, unlike TV version, EW version doesn't completely take away the range abilities. Sandrock got a beam machine gun to use. It's not as good as standard beam rifle, but the folding design on it make the machine gun easy to store and wield. The machine gun can be stored on back skirt when not in use, or on the shield while wearing the Armadillo unit. After Cthulhu went to space, Gundam Sandrock briefly appeared again to stop Oz force. Although Sandrock wasn't modified to space use yet, but a new weapon was used instead of beam machine gun, which is the beam rifle. This beam rifle is very similar to Wing Gundam's Buster rifle. They are both powered by energy cartridges. However, this beam rifle isn't as powerful as the Buster rifle, but killing a bunch of Virgos aren't a problem at all. During the Sunk Kingdom defense battle, Sandrock was equipped with the 180mm cannons on his shoulders. They are the same shoulder equipment from Magnetic Armand Custom. Other than new weapons, EW version also allows Sandrock to equip various types of accessories. For Sandrock and Mechanic Corp, all of their MS can equip an anti-beam coating cloak. The cloak will lock in place by an additional shoulder armor. The size of the cloth will cover the whole MS body except the head. This cloak can block beam shots. It's also dust-proof, sand-proof, and heat-proof. It can even withstand the heat during atmospheric re-entry. Other than defending and adding resistance towards different substances, the cloak will also make Sandrock become less visible during nighttime missions. From the cloth all the way to shoulder armor is all simple structure design, which means Sandrock can easily eject it to lose weight and become flexible again. Although Sandrock has excellent maneuverability on land, but it lacks flight abilities. To solve this problem, an optional unit is created, which is the Armadillo unit. Armadillo is created for three purposes: short-time flights, high-altitude jumping, and defense. First, every piece of armor on the unit is coated with anti-beam coating. Secondly, in order to block attack coming from the side, two modified mechanics shields are attached on the shoulder mounts. Thirdly, there are built-in auxiliary boosters in the unit, which gives Sandrock the ability to jump higher using the burst of thrust, or maintain a short-distance flight. Lastly, just like the anti-beam coating cloak, Armadillo can be ejected whenever it requires to. The most often tactic is Sandrock took off with the burst of thrust, then eject the unit in mid-air to lose weight, then start attacking the target. Armadillo Volume 2 appeared during the HLV hijack mission. The difference between Volume 1 and Volume 2 is the armament on the shoulder mounts. Volume 1 is the modified mechanics shields. Volume 2 is the Sandrock's shields with another mount on them, which the extra mounts will carry a large missile pod. After the missile pods are emptied, they will be ejected immediately to drop dead weight. During the attack on the new Edwards base, Sandrock and Mechanic Corp were equipped with an add-on. Even though all of them didn't appear in the GOL manga, but the design idea was kept in the manga. Sandrock can equip a combination of hovercraft propulsion system, extra armor, and two mechanics beam rifle on the weapon bay. This mixed design system provides additional firepower support, while making Sandrock move faster and became more agile during land combats. Just like the anti-beam coating cloak, this add-on equipment can detach easily from Sandrock if required. Lastly, no matter EW or TV version, all 5 Gundams are equipped with self-destruct system. The one on Sandrock is slightly different, while the other 4 Gundams are blowing up instantly. Sandrock will keep walking to the front while holding the shield up to protect the cockpit. After walking for a distance, Sandrock will stop, then self-destruct itself. On the 7th of April, AC-195, Operation Meteor has begun and the 5 Gundams were sent to Earth, started their own mission. Sandrock and the Mechanic Corp first appeared at Oz Desert Base. They swept the Oz force with an ease and ended the first mission very quickly. Sandrock and the Mechanic Corp appeared again at the Kosaka base. Right when Heavy Arms was night fighting the Ares, they came to rescue and swept the Ares team. Sandrock and Heavy Arms briefly fought against each other, but soon they went into a truce and both pilots were befriended. As Oz spread the rumor of having top official meeting in New Edwards base, the Gundams showed up and attacked the base. However, Hero killed the wrong group of Oz officials. He killed all the pacifist officials. The plan went as Oz planned, as the pacifist officials were now all dead. Oz successfully used this event and provoked anti-colonies emotion. Later, Oz decided to lure the Gundams out and defeat them one by one. Oz released 2 routes for the Taurus transportations. Sandrock and Mechanic Corps stopped the land route, but it was a decoy and they engaged with the Leos. Despite each Gundam showed up and the battle quickly turned into one-sided, but Lady Anne used the colonies as leverage and forced the Gundam pilots to surrender. In the end, Dr. J showed up to negotiate and Hero didn't hesitate for a second. Self-destructed his wing Gundam to stop the missile attack towards the colony. As the Gundam pilots heard the schemes of Oz, they decided to head back into space. Each of them attacked different spaceport bases to steal the HLV, attempting to return into space. Sandrock and Zethythonix attacked the Singapore spaceport base, but they were outnumbered pretty quickly. The battle turned around when Sandleon showed up. With the 3 Gundams fought together, they successfully stole the HLV. While Zethythonix and Sandleon were both loaded onto the HLV, Cthulhu decided to stay and cover the launching. As Sandrock went out of options, Cthulhu decided to self-destruct the Gundam and wipe out the remaining Oz force. Sandrock's safety self-destruct procedure allowed Cthulhu to exit the Gundam. He joined the remaining pilots and all 3 pilots went to space. Meanwhile, Sandrock was self-destructed completely and took out the remaining Oz force. After the self-destruction, Oz collected the wreckage and started to repair Sandrock. However, the incomplete Sandrock was later stolen by Mechanic Corps and they successfully got away with the support fire from Sally Poe. Later, Sally gave the location of Sandrock to Cthulhu. He found the Mechanic Corps in the desert. Soon, the crew gave Cthulhu his Sandrock back. They fought back and completely eliminated the Romo-Feller Foundation's forces. Back to Sank Kingdom. Romo-Feller Foundation has decided to wipe out Sank Kingdom as their political view does not benefit the Foundation. They sent the main force to wipe out the country. Even though Apion, Sandrock, and the Sank Kingdom's army tried to defend the country, they were just outnumbered. In the end, the invasion stopped as Lilina decided to surrender and Sank Kingdom was annihilated. After Sank Kingdom's surrender, Cthulhu and Noin went to space. Sandrock fought against the Oz forces briefly, but then he met with Dio and Tolowa again. As White Fang has officially declared war, the Gundam pilots scattered again to stop Zix and White Fang. After Noin, Tolowa, Dio, and Cthulhu met with Mike Howard, he provided tech support and converted the Sandrock into space use. The result is Gundam Sandrock Kai. Sandrock Kai is not very different compared to Sandrock. The appearance changes are so little to the point that we often have people asking, what's the difference? If you look at the front, it's basically unchanged. The real changes are on the side and back of the Gundam. The shoulders and back skirt have new verniers. The verniers on the back of the legs are also enlarged. Other than adding verniers, the communication search system radar is further improved, turning Sandrock into the true captain of the Gundam team. Weapon-wise, every weapon is kept and only Cross Crusher is removed. Due to the fact that the backpack is modified to space use, so the backpack mount for the shield is replaced by new verniers, which means forming the Cross Crusher is impossible. To solve the lack of range options, Sandrock Kai's only new weapon is beam machine gun. In the first attempt to take down Libra, the Gundam team has absolutely no cooperation. The Gundam pilots are not familiar with teamwork, even though they survived the first wave of Virgo 2 attack, but without working as a team, eventually they will lose in attrition warfare. Hero is aware that Zix is using this flaw as leverage to split and defeat each Gundam, so he asked Howard to put Zero System in Sandrock Kai. Different than Wing Zero and Apion, Sandrock Kai's Zero System will not always activate unless the passcode is entered, but other than that difference, it's the same Zero System on Wing Zero and Apion. For Sandrock Kai EW, everything is the same, the only difference is the color. Different than TV version, EW didn't add any new verniers, it's only changed to space use data to adjust the output and movements. The standard weapons are still kept since the whole design didn't change. The Cross Crusher is still available for the Sandrock Kai EW. When I looked at Gundam Wiki, I noticed it says the EW version used a laser gun. However, I read the last 5 volumes repeatedly and I'm still unable to find a page where Sandrock Kai even equipped it. So I'm not sure this is wrong or I just have bad vision, but it's a quick explanation so I'll just go through it quickly. Laser gun appeared in the TV version too. It's on the Taurus hands during the biology crossfire. This weapon is purely used for penetrating the planet defensors on the Virgo series. It's quite effective, but it's very easy to overheat then explode. But if the output was adjusted before launching, the laser gun can last longer and prevent overheat explosion. Just like Sandrock EW, Sandrock Kai EW can equip an anti-beam coating cloak too. Although it's not shown in the manga, but since the structure and hard points are unchanged, it's possible that Sandrock Sandrock Kai can still use Armadillo unit and the land combat add-on equipment. Just like the reason in the TV plot, Zero System is equipped onto the Sandrock Kai in GOL manga too. Of course, self-destruct system is still on the Sandrock Kai no matter TV or EW version. After Sandrock Kai was finished, the first battle was at the Balaji crossfire. Sandrock Kai and Zethythonix briefly engaged with Apion as Balaji's cannon was about to shoot again. Noin used her Taurus to strangle Apion so Cthulhu and Dio can focus on destroying the Balaji cannon. However, they were about to run out of time as Balaji defense force was fighting back very strong. Apion was soon easily overpowered Noin's Taurus and flew towards the Balaji. Apion used the beam sword's maximum output and successfully destroyed Balaji. As White Fang's power was growing larger and larger, the Gundam team decided to stop both White Fang and Ox. In the first attempt to take down Libra, Zix used the weakness of Gundam pilots unfamiliar with teamwork, using the mobile door system to split them apart and nearly defeated all of them. Even though the Gundam pilots survived the first Virgo 2 wave, the hero knows that it wouldn't be long until Zix won the attrition warfare, since Cthulhu is the only pilot in the team who have experience about being a commander. So Hero asked Howard to put Zero System into Sandrock Kai. As Hero and Zix got into a 1v1, the remaining pilots still struggled a bit at first, but the table was quickly turned as Cthulhu used the Zero System to command everyone and successfully break the mobile door system pattern. After the second attempt, Cthulhu is very comfortable with commanding, so he removed the Zero System. For the rest of the Eve War, Cthulhu was doing very well as a commander. Although Sandrock Kai didn't perform much, but is a key piece of the team that can be missed too. After the final fight between Apion and Wing Zero was settled, Uwe found the Wing Zero's twin buster rifle and gave it back to Hero. The Eve War has ended as Hero shot down the last block of Libra to prevent nuclear winter. After the Eve War, a new war was created by Perfect Peace people, a group of people who thinks the Gundam pilots are unaccountable rogue actors and cannot be trusted with their so-called hoping for peace. Victor gains, claiming that finding Falconers will end the war between humanity, but Hero discovered through Zero System that Victor just wants to use Falconers and mobile door system to get rid of anyone who rejects his idea. With all the Gundam pilots cooperated together, Scorpio was destroyed and Victor was killed. After the battle against the P-Cube forces, Cthulhu realized that without them throwing away their Gundams, no one would believe in absolute peace and decided to convince the pilots to throw away the Gundams too. Other than Ultron, the rest of the 4 Gundams were sent to the sun for destruction. However, Marimeya Army declared war and Cthulhu had to get the Gundams back. While Wing Zero and Ultron was still fighting in space, Torgis 3, Taurus, Zethythonix, Heavy Arms Kai, and Sandrock Kai has arrived in Brussels, trying their best to stop Marimeya Army. The battle could have ended earlier, but all of them decided not to take a single life, which the battle soon turned into a huge disadvantage for the Gundams. Although Sandrock Kai has the strongest armor out of every MS in the battle, but with the heavy firepower from the Serpents, Sandrock Kai was soon overpowered. Its Sortos were also completely broken too. In the end, everyone has ran out of ammo and weapons, and the Gundams were surrounded by Serpents. Right before the Serpents were about to end them, Wing Zero came out and blasted 3 shots to break the bunker's gate. As Dakim was shot to death, the Marimeya rebellion was over. In a peaceful day, Zethythonix, Heavy Arms Kai, and Sandrock Kai was standing together. Dio pressed the button and all 3 Gundams were self-destructed, and each pilot went back to the normal life. After the death of Cthulhu's father, Said Wiener, Cthulhu has lost faith in the colonies and made the Wing Zero as revenge. While he was announcing the attack to the colonies, he sent out the Gundam Sandrock's blueprints to Oz. Romofeller Foundation took the blueprints and developed their own version of Sandrock. Gundam Sandleon was secretly developed in Colony X18722. Nearly everything is like the Sandrock EW design, except very little armor changes. Just like Sandrock, Sandleon is focused on close-range combat too, so the range options are lacking. Despite being an MP-type MS, Sandleon still inherits the feature of Sandrock, which is strong defense. Additionally, Sandleon only kept the basic weapons to cut the cost. Same as Sandrock, it got Falcon Gun in the head and 2 homing missile mount in the clavicle parts. Instead of heat Sortos, Sandleon uses the high cold Sortos. These Sortos kept the sharpness. Instead of using heat to increase cutting power, high cold Sortos use absolute 0 temperature to instantly freeze the target. Then the target is vulnerable to anything that hits on it. Different than Sandrock, high cold Sortos are rotated from the forearm to use them, leaving the hands are completely free. Sandleon was first activated by Dorbert, a Romofeller Foundation's loyalist. After Tia Noembru and her friends stole the mass production Gundams from the Foundation. Dorbert was sent to hunt them down. Dorbert successfully caught up to Teal, but his Sandleon was damaged by a wing Gundam Seraphim. Dorbert retreated and headed back to the base. Sandleon was also upgraded in the factory. Gundam Sandleon Custom is the upgrade version of Sandleon. The upgrade parts are from the Gundam Scheherazade, which was destroyed during the conflicts at MO5. The basic settings are the same, even the weapons are the same. The new features and weapons are directly from Scheherazade. Sandleon Custom has the same shoulder equipment and armor from Scheherazade, which means Sandleon Custom can use Python Claw and Rapid shots. Python Claw will cover the arms during combat mode. This weapon is 3 claws with super vibrating blades, which ensured the destruction power is good enough. There are 2 rapid shots in the claws. They have decent power while maintaining the fast fire rate. They were mostly used for restricting enemies' movements. Since the shoulders are equipped with Scheherazade weapons, the weight is imbalanced, so just like the original settings of it. Sandleon Custom added propellant-linked tanks for counterweight purpose. After the upgrade is finished, Sandleon Custom and Zethythonix Custom launched again to hunt down the 3 stolen Gundams. In the graveyard of soldiers, a heated battle between the 3 Gundams were started. While Teal and Kronk Polnai successfully escaped, Trinoy Levinsky stayed back and engaged both Sandleon Custom and Zethythonix Custom with his Gundam Doringa Arms. In the end, Doringa Arms defeated both Gundams, but in exchange, Doringa Arms was soon exploded too from the sustained damage. 20 years after the Marimaya Rebellion, Mars Century has started, and obviously war never stopped and new Gundams were developed. Dr. T and Instructor W decided to develop Gundams again to keep the conflicts away, but the progress was not easy. After the previous war, the government listed the Absolute Peace Law, which means anything related back to MS development has been deleted, buried, or cleaned. One day, both of them found 4 prototype Gundams in an abandoned colony owned by Wiener family. Surprisingly, the 4 prototypes looked very similar to the Operation Meteor Gundams, even though the files were all damaged or lost, but part of the information was kept. Since the prototypes were all incomplete or mostly disassembled, Dr. T and Instructor W had to repair it with the broken and incomplete data. Sandrock's prototype, Gundam Scheherazade, was included in those 4 prototypes. Sadly, out of every prototype, Scheherazade has the least data, so I can't explain it clearly. According to the remaining data, Scheherazade looked very similar to the Sandrock EW. It's even equipped with the same anti-beam coating cloak. The body is described as mostly the same as Sandrock EW, only the head has an obvious change. The weapons are barely described. The Sotos on the Scheherazade is the same heat Sotos on Sandrock. However, according to the original data, Scheherazade got a pair of crescent knife, and it was meant to be made with MG alloy, a material way stronger than Gundanium alloy. That's all the information I can find on Scheherazade. The data and descriptions are really limited. Thanks for watching this episode. What do you think of the Sandrock? Tell me in the comments. Be sure to stick around as we got the next big series coming in, the H.L.M.S trilogy. If you don't want to miss the next big series, make sure you're subscribed right now and turn on your notification bell. I gotta get some rest while I can't, and it's gonna be a long week for me to write H.L.M.S in 3 episodes. Be sure to join my Discord and follow my IG through the links in the description. Feel free to donate, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.